Hey everybody, here we go again, right? So, we all watched the draft. We all know about the trades that went on with the draft for the number one and number two pick. St. Louis traded. They got the number one over pick. They picked Jared Goff. And Philadelphia picked Wentz. All right. Now, I know you've been hearing all over on TV, oh, who's the better one? Who is going to be the face of the franchise for longer? My pick, personally, it's going to be Wentz. He's going into a better situation. He's going where he can learn. Uh, you know, he's definitely going to play this year. At some time, he's going to play, but he can go watch, see the difference in game speed. You know, and I think he has the better. He's coming from a pro style offense. He's got a great quarterback coach. His coaching staff. It's the Andy Reid coaching staff basically, and they know how to make their quarterback succeed. They'll have him, use his tight end. A lot of screenplays. That they'll make it successful for him. They'll have a good all-purpose running back that he can dump the ball off to. That's can do everything. Like they know how to make their quarterback succeed. So he's going to have a good career. Is he gonna have a Hall of Fame career? I don't know. That's just up to whatever. Now, Golf, I don't think he's ready to start. He's going to have to start game one, but I don't think he's ready to start. I don't think he didn't come from a pro style offense. So is St. Louis gonna change their offense up so he can start? Are they gonna go to a spread offense? Well, they don't have the talent in the wide receiver group to do that. I mean, they do have the speedster, and they have Todd Gurley, the running back. So, but he is more of a he's going to be behind the quarterback. They're going to hand the ball off to him 30 times a game. Uh, we got to see. I just don't have trust in Golf. I don't think this receiving core. They have a great defense. Their defense is really good. It's a top 10 defense in the NFL. Even with the losses they got this year, they still have. If that defensive line can stay healthy, it's one of the most dominant defensive lines in the NFL. They got great linebackers. They got good safeties. It's all good levels on defense. They did good in their division last year, which is probably the toughest division in football, minus San Francisco. Uh, I really think that. I mean, it's a step up from the quarterback play they had last year. Anything's better than the quarterback play they had last year. They had better quarterback play last year. They go 10-6. Uh, Philadelphia. I think the NFC East is back. Do they take a step up this year? Uh, I don't know, because I just think everybody, the NFC East, the Giants got better. Uh, Washington, uh, we'll see. I still don't trust Kirk Cousins, but Wentz, I think he'll come back. I think for the game amounts he plays, he'll have better stats when he starts than Golf. That's just that's just it. I believe he'll have better, completion percentage. He'll have a better QBR. Uh, Golf is gonna struggle. He's not gonna come in the league and be like, you know, Jameis or Mariota. They were, even though Mariota wasn't ready, Mariota had like that. He has that scary talent that teams were worried about, so he could be successful even though he got hurt. He's not Jameis, and he's not Mariota. He's not Luck. He's not even RG3. I mean, the guy. I don't know why he went number one overall, but teams drafted for need other than talent. So as we're talking about that, let's go to my. I'm not gonna go through the whole entire draft team by team. I'm gonna go to my top two drafts and my top two worst that did the worst in the draft. Now, my number one draft. Well, I'll go to my number two. My number two draft was the Browns. The Browns. They had a lot of draft picks. They got a lot of, I believe, they needed players. I was happy. I think they could have went better with their first round draft pick, but I'm happy with them. The guy scores touchdowns. They got Coleman with their number one overall draft pick. He comes from a college system where he ran like probably 3 or 4 pass patterns, maybe. But he's a speedster. He has good size. Uh, and he catches touchdowns. The guy, he's reliable. I like it. He's probably the one of the biggest receivers RG3 has to throw to in his whole career. I mean, you think about it. When he played for Washington, they were just undersized receivers that were speed. Now he's got I think he's like 6'2" size receiver. That runs a 4.4 40, 4.45. RG3 is going to be happy. They drafted, a go, but I can't pronounce his name. Agibwe, defensive end. He's an also undersized defensive end, but he's a pass rush specialist. And Nassib is a steal. I think he's another undersized one. Not height wise, he's tall, but weight wise, he gets some weight to him. He's going to be every down defensive end. I think more of a left defensive end than a right defensive end. I think he's going to be more like he can rush the passer. He touches the quarterback a lot. I think he was a steal for them. And by them drafting Kessler, I think they are going to probably trade McNown. Kessler, whatever. But I think they think RG3 is the quarterback and he can have success in the next couple of years. So the Browns had a good draft. I like their draft. They drafted a lot of players that are going to play right away. Their draft was good. My number one draft, definitely the Jacksonville Jaguars. They probably got the number one and number two talented players in the draft that are going to start. They are going to make a difference on that defense. That defense is going to be good next year. It is going to make the biggest jump out of all the teams in NFL's defenses. Oh, maybe the Giants, because the Giants' defense was horrible, and they're going to be good next year. They got Jalen Ramsey, who a lot of players had as a lot of teams had as their number one talented player in the draft. And then they got Jack, which a lot of teams had as their number 2, number 3 talented player in the draft. So they got the 1 and 2 talented players. Now, Jack, is he going to play outside linebacker, middle linebacker? What linebacker is he going to play? Nobody knows. But the guy, he's good in coverage. He's going to be on the field every down. How long can he stay healthy? I don't know. Who knows? NFL players have 3 years, maybe, if they're lucky. He is going to start. He's going to make a difference for a couple of years or more. Who knows? The guy can stay healthy his whole career. We never know. Jalen Ramsey's going to shut down a half of the field. He's going to play corner. I know all these people talking about safety and all that. No, he's going to play corner. He's going to play cornerback. He's going to be on number 1, and that's it. He's got great size, great speed, great coverage skills. The Jags went defense this whole draft. They filled up their defense because they have to stop people in their division. Their division is filled with a whole bunch of young, good quarterbacks. Good, Andrew Luck, probably top 3, top 4 quarterbacks in the NFL. Mariota is a good quarterback. You got, the Texans got Osweiler. He's young quarterback. We don't know how good he really is, but he has good weapons and he has a great defense. So we're going to see. I think Texans had a good draft for wide receivers. They're going to put up points next year, so they're going to need defenses to stop each other. I think it's a good upcoming division, and all the teams have young quarterbacks. They have young starting quarterbacks. We're going to see. I think Jacksonville's draft was great. Now, the worst drafts is the toss-up to me for the 2 teams that had the worst draft. We got Denver and we got the Cowboys. Now, let's be realistic. The Cowboys, I thought, was a great pick to get Elliott. first round. I thought they need a running back of his caliber that could do everything on the field that, is going to be constant. Now Morris and McFadden back, but that's just too many people. They say, listen, they are not worried about it. Jerry Jones will play the play. Jerry Jones will make sure that Elliott, if he's the best player, touches the ball 25 times a game. You give this guy the ball 25 times a game against that great offensive line, you're good. But after Elliott, everything they drafted was a reach. You drafted a linebacker that your already starting linebacker, Lee, is always hurt. Always hurt. So now you got a guy that's drafted that might not even play. Like, he might not ever play another down of football ever in his life. Like Lattimore. Lattimore got that injury, tried to come back. He was supposed to be the successor to Frank Gore, and look what happened. He couldn't play football anymore. So, with your second round pick, the Cowboys could have probably waited until like round 5 to get him. I'm being serious. Like, I was looking like, why did they draft him? I mean, all you Cowboy fans, can you please tell me how you felt about that? Hit me up underneath the comment section, or the people that are on the sports debate page that I'm part of on Facebook. Tell me how you feel about that. I mean, there's just so much more talent you could have had. You could have addressed your need at defensive end. You could have addressed your need at corner. You could have addressed your need. The Dallas Cowboys defense has so much needs, it's not even funny. So, whatever. Their draft was very questionable, other than Elliott. Now, Denver, I think this was a wasted draft for them. I don't even see, I see the best pick that they had was Simon, but he's not even going to start. You already got 2 good safeties. So, where's this guy going to play? He's going to sit on the bench. He's too slow to be a corner. He was a good safety in college. I really liked him. From Boston College. He got to the ball. Are you going to play him in that hybrid linebacker / safety position that's in the NFL right now? I don't know. Another bust is Booker. He's a running back from Utah. Running backs from Utah do nothing in the NFL. They always put up all these good college stats, and then when they get to the NFL, they don't even usually make the cut after training camp because they're so bad. Like, there's so many Utah running backs people thought were going to be good, and they're buns. Like, you wasted a draft pick on him. You could have probably got him later in the draft, too. And Paxton Lynch, which everybody questions the guy's personality, his work ethic. Does he care enough to play on this level? He's going to John Elway. Mark Sanchez is going to teach him how to play football. Mark Sanchez. Who knows? I think Paxton Lynch is a bust. I think there were other quarterbacks in the draft they could have waited to get. They lost a lot of players this year. A lot of players this year they've lost. So they didn't address any needs to me, really. They pretended to address a need with Lynch, but they didn't upgrade their defense. They lost defensive ends, nose tackles. Their defense is going to be on the field a lot this year. They were on the field a lot last year, but this year they're really going to be on the field a lot. No team is going to respect Mark Sanchez. They're going to have 8 to 9 players in the box all the time playing against them. They're not going to have a running game. There's going to be no running game. On 3rd and longs, they're always going to blitz. Mark Sanchez has proven he's going to turn the ball over. I don't see, maybe they're going to start Lynch week 5, week 6. Maybe if they start off 0-4, Lynch will start. I think their defense is going to struggle. They don't have the depth they had last year. Yeah, they were on the field a lot last year, but they had a great rotation, great depth in their defense. They kept everybody fresh. This year, they don't have that. They've lost too many players. They don't have the depth at linebacker, at defensive line that they had last year. They've been losing depth at defensive line for the last 2 years. They just got lucky this year. I think it's what they've lost in free agency is just too much. They're not. I don't see it. I think so far this offseason, Denver. I don't think they have done enough to fight off Kansas City and fight off the Raiders. The Raiders have done a lot this offseason. They are going to be very improved. I mean, what can you say? The Raiders addressed their defense. They have made that defense that was semi good last year to even it's stout. It addressed its needs. They got dominant pass rushers. They got a dominant linebacker. They got a good corner, and they they look good. They have improved. Kansas City, I mean, just to have Charles back next year, that's going to be an improvement in itself. Uh, with Macklin coming out towards the end of the season, that's good. I mean, Kansas City is going to be good. They are going to be a good team, and I think that Denver takes a step back. Maybe Denver doesn't even make the playoffs next year. That's just how I see it. So that's how I feel about what's going on in the draft. I mean, I think the Cowboys and Denver they dropped the ball. Cowboys started off really good, and Denver just had a bad draft all across the board. I think Denver probably had the worst draft. They didn't do anything that impressed me. I was very shocked with every pick they made. Like, what are they doing? Now, college football season's coming up. Now, I know I'm a Florida State homer. I love Florida State. But I'm just going to, go off some facts. Florida State's having the most returning starters this year than they've had in many years. And the last time that happened, they won a national championship. Just telling you. I'd like to see. We have a quarterback battle that's going on in Florida State. Malik Henry, he's going to be a freshman. He was the number one recruited dual threat quarterback. But the funny thing about that, he was a dual threat quarterback, but he ran a pro style offense in high school. So Florida State runs a pro style offense. There's not a big long learning curve for him. And then Francois, the Orlando quarterback that was the number one dual threat quarterback from 2 years ago, he out of Orlando. He was redshirted last year for Florida State. But he ran a spread offense in college. I don't know if he's really. I watched the spring game, and I don't know if he's really. To me, Henry looked better. He looked like the better quarterback. I don't know if Francis whatever doesn't start. He'll probably transfer to a school like maybe Clemson or someone that runs that spread offense because he is a highly recruited quarterback. That he's gonna want to start. So if Henry gets the nod, I will not be surprised if the other guy transfers. McGuire, he wasn't good enough. He's not gonna freaking start next year. Florida State has a load of talent. We got Cook. We got wide receivers. Florida State's going to be solid. Maybe they'll win a national championship. I don't know. I think Auburn makes a big step up this year. Jeremy Johnson's a beast. They got also Franklin the third that was kicked off of Florida State last year. Is he going to start? Which one of those quarterbacks? They're both good. They're both dual threat. They have a nasty running game. They have good defense. I think Alabama steps down this year. Auburn steps up. LSU's got a killing running game. I don't like their quarterback play, but with college football, it's always the contenders always seem to show up the first 4 weeks. I think also with Alabama taking a step down, I think Clemson makes a big fall. Clemson's going to make a fall. They're not even going to make any noise in the ACC next year. They lost too many players in the draft. Um, they're they're never good really defensively, and to lose the players that they lost, they're to hang with the ACC. They're not going to do it. Um, I think I now everybody's going to be shocked that I'm going to say this. I think Notre Dame has a good chance to make some noise this year. I think it's just rough for them. They play back now. They play in the ACC and they play that independent schedule, which they have a very I hate to agree with you people. Uh, they have a very hard schedule. I mean, they got to play Clemson's, they got to play the Florida States, and then they got to play the Michigans, Ohio States, USC's. They if they run the table, they they could win the national championship. They have to run the table though. It's very hard for Notre Dame to run the table. Like think about it. You get because especially because they're going against like way different styles of football from with the USC's and the Michigans, the Ohio States, the Florida States, the Clemsons. They're playing teams with all different types of different talented. Like the ACC is like speed. They have a lot of speed, even though their defenses are stout. Some of their defenses are very stout. I mean, the ACC. I think they had 3 out of the top 10 defenses in that college football last year. It might have even been 4. With Florida State, Boston College, Clemson. I think Georgia Tech also had a top 10 defense. I'm not too sure. I have to go back and check that. But they had, very stout defenses, and then to go against the schedule that you're going against is rough. But, Notre Dame has a quarterback problem. I think, for me, Zaire should start. Even though Kaiser had great numbers, I think Zaire should start, play, and we really need to see. Uh, Notre Dame's got a good defense. They got a good running back game. I mean, time can only tell how Notre Dame is going to do. I mean, college football, everybody's like, oh, this team's the favorite, this team's the favorite. You never know how these young boys are going to play until the start of the season. You can only go about the talent that was there last year, and like I said, Florida State has the most returning starters. Auburn has a lot of returning starters. Clemson does not. They have a lot of young people that are playing, that are coming in. People are talking about the rise of Florida again. I don't think so. Florida has not had a good recruiting class in about 10 years. They lost 4 recruits. They lost 4 top recruits, 2 to Florida State, 1 to Alabama, and then 1 to Auburn. When your recruits say that they're going to go there, and then after the season last year that they changed their minds and went to different schools. That's just showing me that the recruits don't have faith in the coaching staff. You're not pushing out pro players enough. This is all what goes in recruits' minds. Pushing out pro players and primetime television for top recruits. This is what they want. They want to be on TV. They want to show their talent. They want to show that you're teaching people how to play in the NFL. When you're not teaching people how to play in the NFL, and that shows by your draft class. And they don't have a high draft. They don't have a lot of people being drafted like the Florida States, the Alabamas, the even I would even say especially Ohio State now. I mean, Ohio State has a record. I give them what Urban Myers is doing up there is wonderful. We're going to see how, because he had good draft classes when he was at Florida, remember, but they weren't good NFL players. So we're going to see if he has the same as Ohio State. Because once you start seeing, players a lot of players come from one school that don't turn out to be good pro players, the NFL starts treading away from those players, drafting them later. We'll see, like I said, he had the same success down in Florida. when he was the coach there. I mean, he was crazy. He retired like twice and came back, retired, whatever. Now he's up there. So, but he, you know what? I give him respect. He makes a living out of beating SEC coaches. All he has to do is, keep Ohio State winning. You know, but now Jim Harbaugh's up there with Michigan, so we'll see. He's going to lose a lot of recruits to Jim Harbaugh because Jim Harbaugh is an NFL coach and he knows what NFL scouts are looking for. So and don't think these high school kids don't know that. They know Jim Harbaugh left the NFL not because he was forced out. He was very successful in the NFL. He was very successful. I don't think there's a coach in NFL history that had his success his first 3 years as a coach than anybody. The guy took a losing franchise, turned it around to winners, with lackluster quarterback play, dominant defense, and he made the players want to play for him. He was tough. The players, there were players that were upset with him, but the younger players on the team, they loved playing with him. I just think how he pushes his players. When you're older in the NFL and you have the respect, you don't want to hear that no more. You have that for the first 2 years. They were like, okay, we're going to respect this guy. We're going to give it to him. But after that, they were like, we don't want to hear this shit no more. We don't want to hear it. We don't want to hear about, work hard, be, snub nose. Harbaugh, when he was in NFL, he was a tough player. Remember what basically ended his career and that got Peyton Manning drafted by the Colts. I think it was week 1 or week 2 of the year after. Remember the Hail Mary pass, which was a touchdown, that the Colts should have been in the Super Bowl, but Pittsburgh went and got destroyed by Dallas. He punched John Elway in the helmet and broke his hand and was out for the season. And they had an awful record. He wound up getting cut the next season. Then they drafted, Peyton Manning. But they weren't a bad team. They were a good team. So he was a hard-nosed player. He played for Mike Ditka. He played, the game hard. He was a quarterback that didn't have great speed, but he would run and take hits and put his body on the line. He was, he had a productive NFL career. So the guy wanted everybody to play like he played. You play hard. You work hard. That's how you get successful. And now, these NFL players, once they get to a certain extent, they want to save their bodies. They don't want to be the ones to, have to be sweating during practice. And he didn't see it that way. He felt like everybody should be that way. And, I think the defensive players loved him more than his offensive players did. That's why you saw that big flux of retirements when he left. When he left, a lot of that defense retired because they believed in Harbaugh and they didn't believe in what was going on. Now, let's talk about the NBA playoffs. All right. Game 1 of San Antonio. San Antonio blew out OKC. Game 2, OKC came back. This is what you just don't like about OKC is they should be one of the best teams. They should be in the title game. They should be in the title series if they can play consistently team basketball. You have the 2 top 5 players in the NBA, and look at you won. Sometimes the first game I'm watching the third quarter, and everybody except for Durant and Westbrook are just standing around looking, waiting, because they know they're not going to get the ball. They know they're only going to do a 2-man game. When you watch the old Chicago Bull, I hate to keep bringing this up, but you watch the old Chicago Bull highlights or games, everybody was running the offense because they didn't know if they were going to get the ball or not, because Michael and Scotty, they distributed the ball. And by them distributing the ball equally, it was making them easier to score. They scored easier because they didn't know if they were going to pass the ball or shoot it, because they were probably basically the same thing as Durant and Westbrook. There were two of the top three players in the NFL. I mean NBA. Sorry, I'm thinking about the draft. There were two of the top three players, or four or five, whatever you want to say, players in the NBA. But they were team players. They understood the team concept of basketball. They knew they couldn't win a championship without the other players, the other three people on the court. So, but in Durant and Westbrook, they have to learn that. Get your guys early into the game, get them flowing, get them feeling like they're more than standby players, please. I'm very surprised Golden State, they're up 2-0 against Portland, but Portland, they shouldn't be there. Portland shouldn't. If it was the Clippers and Paul and Blake and Jordan, you know, Portland's there because of injuries to the Clippers, which it's kind of scary. I don't know if Doc Rivers is going to be there next year. This is another early exit from the playoffs for them, and will he be there? Portland shouldn't be there. I thought they were going to play the Clippers this round, but they're not. They're playing Portland, which is a good team. I'm not taking anything away from Portland. Lillard's a great player. They just don't have enough of the surrounding cast. They're undersized, and so is Golden State. Golden State's undersized, but they're better undersized. They have more complete players right now. Even with what his name's saying now, I think the more he sits out, the better they'll be. Because if he aggravates that knee, he has that type of injury that anything can re-aggravate it. If he has to miss against San Antonio, because San Antonio or OKC, if he has to miss 2 games against those, they'll be down 0-2. If Stephen Curry has to miss 2 games in the next round, or any time in the next round, they'll lose. The players that they're going to be going against next round, the teams that they're going to go against next round, those teams will know how to take advantage of this situation. So the best thing is for them to try to sweep them, get some time off, let Curry's knee heal. If Curry is not ready for game 1 of the next series, I wouldn't play. If he has any doubt, if he has any type of limp, because if he hurts it even more and he has to miss three games other than just one game 1, they're not gonna make it. I don't really, even though they won the 73 games, I don't see them winning the NBA the championship this year. I'm gonna go with rather Cleveland, San Antonio. That's just what I feel in my gut. I just think how Cleveland is playing right now. You got the ultimate team player in LeBron James, who is the best all-around basketball player in the NBA. And if you don't think so, then you're just a LeBron James hater, and you need to stop. The guy is the best. He is willing to have his numbers suffer. He is willing to do he does everything. The guy rebounds, steals. You see him diving on the floor for loose balls. You see him, tangling up players for jumping. Like, the guy does everything. He does everything to win. I think it's really, really good. So the NBA playoffs is very. Hey, you know what I like? I like how I see Dwayne Wade, even though he does it in spurts. He's surprising me this playoffs. I mean, Miami's surprising me, period. But he's shown some youth in those old legs. The guy doesn't go. He can't go 40 minutes. I think he's averaging like 28 minutes a game. But, he does 10-minute spurts where he takes over the game, and you're like, wow, I remember Dwayne Wade when, he was with Shaq doing this. I think he's very entertaining. Toronto, whatever. They should. But, when the Heat, it'll be interesting. Dwayne Wade plays LeBron James next round, wouldn't it? You see the Heat versus Wade go against LeBron. In LeBron's new dream team versus Dwayne Wade's overachievers. They're overachievers, let's be real. They shouldn't even be here, but they're there, and, Wade is doing good. I gotta give it to the guy. Let's give him a round of applause. He is looking good. Let's touch on the unions of the sports and why they are needed and why do they hurt some sports. Uh, the NFL union is probably the weakest union out of all the sports, all the major sports in America. Because the owners always have the leverage of when you guys didn't play, we were still selling out stadiums. The replacement players were still selling out stadiums because football is short, is a 16 game regular season. Uh, you can make football entertaining with not pro level talent. And there's a whole bunch of people that play Canadian football that play football. You just change offenses up. You put points on the board. You have hard hitting. You know, people are going to come and watch teams play because people like to watch football. It's not that long of a season. We want to watch it. We want to see players. We want to see running plays. People get hit, sacks, fumbles. We want to see all that. So that is why the commissioner in football has one of the strongest positions in sports. That's why he can do what he can do. Because when it comes to the bargaining agreement, he basically gets the last say. Come on, and the owners get the last say. That's why, can you believe the salary cap dropped for the NFL a couple of years ago? After a collective bargain agreement, really? It dropped. Teams got to spend less. That was crazy. After they were threatened with the strike, now owners get to pay less money and less money on first overall draft picks. What kind of player union do you have? These NFL football teams, the worst team in the NFL is making billions of dollars a year. And look at the salary. What's the salary cap now? 72 million, I think. Is it 72 million? I have to look it up. But that is ridiculous. I mean, you've got players on NFL rosters that are making $200,000 a year. I mean, that's a lot. That's a good amount of money for working 16 weeks out the year, but they're working more than 16 weeks. Let's be real. These guys are working all year round on their craft. But you got guys in the NBA that don't even haven't played in, God knows, haven't played in, say, 5-6 years. They're making the veteran league minimum of $7 million just for sitting on that bench and warming it up. Because they're a specialty artist, because they can make a three-pointer in need. There's guys that haven't made one field goal their whole career that's made more than most NFL players made in their whole career. That offensive tackles or defensive linemen have made in their whole career that haven't scored. That just are in there for specialty players. A lot. It's crazy. The NBA union is good because nobody wants to see guys that can't dunk, can't put on the highlight show. You go to the NBA games for entertainment. That's why their union is strong. That's why they have a strong union, because the owners know that they can't fill out arenas. You got NBA basketball teams that are good that can't fill up the arenas that they play in. So the players have control. The player union in the NBA have control. What are you gonna do? Get backup players, get players over from Europe to come over here and play that aren't the world's best athletes? Because my personal opinion, the NBA has the best athletes. Athletic wise, they are the best athletes in the world. No, people go to NBA games because they want to see Stephen Curry rain threes. They want to see LeBron highlight dunks. They want to see that. So their player union has more strength than the NFL's. The baseball union is the best union ever. It's okay. Because people don't want to go to baseball games and see nothing happen or see a whole bunch of errors or horrible playing baseball. Nobody wants to see bad baseball. I go to a baseball game, I don't want to see bad baseball. I don't want to see errors. I don't want to see, guys that, barely hit the ball out the infield. I don't want to see pitchers bouncing the ball to I want to see 90-mile-per-hour fastballs. I want to see, the battle between the pitcher and the home run hitter, balls and, am I going to pitch to them? I want to see great infield play. I want to see guys jumping over the wall to catch passes, catching, stopping home runs. This is what I want to see. I want to see the Mike Trouts. I want to see, the I want to see Mike Trout. I want to see Strassenberger. I want to see Kessler. I want to see these players. I want to see the best baseball players out there. I don't want to see the lane ball era again. Nobody wants to see that. That's why the baseball players strike. The season's over. You can threaten replacement players, but nobody's going to go see them play. Nobody's going to go in the stadium and go see, Joe Schmo that came off the street from Asbury go play for the Yankees. Nobody's going to go see that. We know you're not talented. If you were talented, you'd be playing in Major League Baseball. Or, your name would be in the article about upcoming farm system player, which you probably can't. If you're an upcoming farm system player, you probably can't play in the strike era anywhere because they're contracted to a Major League team. So nobody wants to see that. You don't even have people that are up and coming there. So I don't want to see it. Do you want to see it? No, you don't. Be real. Hockey has a pretty good union for its players because they have a lot of money issues, and hockey's always threatening to go overseas because teams just aren't making the money that they're making in the other big sports. But for their player union, it's pretty strong. These guys are still getting paid. What can I say? They're still they're still getting paid. They do have longevity, though. Hockey players' careers, and it's what's crazy. It's a very physical game, but they don't really play that. If you watch hockey's constant ice changes, teams are changing lineups constantly throughout a period. Even throughout a 5-minute span, you might see 4 different lineups on one single team in 4 minutes, 5 minutes in a 5-minute span. So you never know, it's crazy. Like, the real playing time of hockey players is they keep them fresh as possible. I mean, you're going to see the best lineups in the third period, but they get paid a lot for the time they actually play. I mean, the guy that plays the most is the goaltender. He's in there the whole game, but sometimes he doesn't see a shot for a period. So, but that's good. Let's think about how much Laramie Tunsil dropped because of that picture, huh? I'm gonna probably end the show with this. This is why you young players, young people, if this is what you're gonna go for, if you're going to be like, you know what, I'm going, and this is for any spotlighted profession. If you want to one day run for president or council, you want to be in the NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, which they don't really care in baseball, really. Those players in baseball can do basically whatever they want. Let's be serious. Their player union is so strong, they can do whatever they want. But, I mean, in anything, if you want to be in a big light position in life, be it sports, be it politics, be it TV, whatever, you have to think of your actions, of what you are doing. He's probably losing $4 or $5 million a year from being the number 3 overall draft pick to now he's 13. Character issues. Dude, smoking a bong comes on your Twitter page right before the draft. Yeah, someone probably hacked and put it up there, but that was him. He didn't deny that was him smoking the bong. He was hitting that. He was smoking it, and then just his actions, in college and taking money and bribes. I'm not bribes, but taking money in college. And he's admitted this. He has bad character issues. He has bad judgment. I mean, he's a young man. But what can I say? You messed up. And when you mess up, you pay the price. So, will he have a long career? Probably. He's probably going to come in with a chip in the shoulder, work real hard, and be one of the best offensive tackles in football. Maybe. I always had Conklin. In my eyes, Conklin was always rated higher than him and Stanley. My reason is because I think Stanley's really going to be an offensive guard in the NFL. He had his most productive years in college as a guard. He's more of athletic player than a power player, and your tackle really you want is that tough guy that can hold the edge for you, keep the power rusher away from your quarterback. So I didn't really like Stanley, especially Stanley in big games against good competition. He showed that he didn't really have the power to stop great pass rushers. So that's just it. And character issues for Tunsil. I thought Conklin was the best, and he wasn't. Everybody's like, "Oh, this really good story about him being a walk on." They knew he was going to Michigan State. They didn't have enough scholarships. He walked on, got a full scholarship by January. So let's please, it's not that really good of a story. They knew he was going there. There's no other school he was going to. He could have went to 100 different schools on full scholarships. He wanted to go to Michigan State. He went there, and he had a great career. And he had a great career in practice. He probably went against the best defensive line in college football constantly. Uh, so but Tunsil, a lot of people had him. They had him because of his you know his athletic ability, where he played. Uh, he's going to be a very solid player. I like that Miami picked him up. I don't like Tannehill as their quarterback, but that's the show. I hope I gave you a lot of food for thought. You guys have a good one.